Live from Gil Silva Family Studio in Salinas, California, the salad bowl of the world. Welcome to the podcast designed to inspire, the only one built with ganas.
You're gonna work harder than you ever worked before. And the only thing I ask from you is ganas, desire, a haircut. If you don't have the ganas, I will give it to you because I'm an expert.
From the founders of Gil Basketball Academy that empowers youth to play hard, work hard, study hard, and overcome obstacles.
People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.
Real interviews with real people about real life.
You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
And now it's time for Ganas, leading from the heart.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ganas, leading from the heart. I am Jose Gil, coach, teacher, father, husband, and lifelong believer in ganas, which translate to desire. Today on the show, we have Amparo Saldana. But my co-host first is my beautiful, lovely wife, Eva.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm so excited about today because we have a very inspirational person, a personal friend here with us today. Amparo is an amazing person, and you're going to get to meet her. And we've been talking about the power of personal stories here during our podcast because those personal stories really inspire us and help us to keep going. And Amparo, if you would please today tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you grew up, tu familia, so that we can get to know you a little better first.
Well, first of all, thank you guys. I am humbly honored to be part of this podcast. So my story is that I was born in Mexico to a big Mexican family of 11. And
no,
we...
No tan grande, no tan grande.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
11,
yes. So
wow. How was that?
Yes. Oh, amazing. You know, 5 girls and 6 boys. So it's quite an experience. It's something that is very rare now, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we immigrated to the United States slowly. My dad was a bracero, and my older brothers and sisters came with him first, and then by 1982, the rest of us were all here living in Madera, California. And my dad would come actually to Salinas and work here. And so he knows all of this area. And sometimes when he comes to visit me, he's like, mira esa boronda, antes era puro files, mija.
He knows those roads better than we do, huh?
Yeah.
He does. He truly does, because he worked all the fields, you know, up and down this valley. So so he would commute, and we got established as a family in Madera, California. And so I ended up going to elementary school and high school there and graduated there. And then I ended up going to college and finishing up at Fresno State. And, you know, several experiences in life later, I met my husband, and he's a native of Salinas. And we moved around quite a bit, but ended up settling here. And we've been here for, God, almost 12 years now.
Wow, the power couple. Because Amparo's husband, Aldo, is also an amazing person, just like she is.
Thank you. He's definitely been part of the team. Like, you know, we are a team, and I'm just honored that, you know, I have a partner that has always supported me, and
Yes.
you know, just when you have a partner that helps you grow and you know, treats you as an equal and really respects you for what you want to do, and you support each other, great things can happen, right?
Yes. And I believe that, you know, that's one of the biggest choices that we're going to make in life is, you know, when you choose your life partner, And so I'm glad you're mentioning that, because it is very important for the youth to hear that, right? That, you need to select a partner that's going to support you in your dreams and support you when you're down in every aspect of life. So thank you for sharing that.
Right.
And what's your profession, Amparo? If you could tell us, please.
I am currently a teacher. I have been teaching for the last 10 years. And I actually happened to jump into teaching because that was not really my college studies. I actually majored in psychology and biology.
Oh, wow.
And teaching was not part of my plan previously. But in mentioning that I have a great partner that's always supported me, when we got married and we had our kids, I told them that one of my priority things was to stay home with my boys so that I can raise them and be part of their lives in their early foundational years. And he supported that, and so I stayed home and just tried to be the best role model for them and keep them active and doing things. And then before you know it, I ended up volunteering in their schools, elementary. And since I was already credentialed, the teachers started asking me to sub for them. And as a substitute teacher, it worked out really nice for me. I could be with my kids at school, and then I can also take on a part-time job, which eventually I had one mentor, Margarita Palacios, who was the principal then, and she's like, Amparo, you're such a natural at this. You just need to go get your credential. Why haven't you got it? Da, 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 da. Me regañaba, pero bien regañada.
Wow.
And so she motivated me. And because of her, I went ahead and pursued my teaching credential. And I have been teaching ever since. And I started as a third grade teacher, although I got to brag that I taught all the grades from K through 6.
Oh.
Did a little bit of middle school and a couple of substitute classes at Alice High.
Wow.
Yeah. So I ended up teaching, and then I taught science class for 5 years. And right now, the past 2 years, I've chosen to go back to teach third grade.
Great. You mentioned raising your two young boys, and to I've known them as scholar athletes since they started in our academy, right, years ago when they were little kids. But what advice do you have for parents out there to raise kids to be yet scholar athletes, very talented, but yet humble?
It's been a combination of things, I think. Yeah. Again, having the support of a husband that said, yeah, go ahead and stay home. And I think because I had a little bit of a psychology background and kind of understood how important those first years of their life would be to have some stability and somebody that, modeled good things for them, right? But after, I've had an awesome support system. We call it a village, a group of people around us, whether it's family, friends, teachers, organizations that help, shape and build our children, because our children end up being a product of who surrounds them, right? Their environment. And I think, my boys, early on, we emphasized that their education to them was going to be important. So one of the first things I started doing when they were small is started exposing them to reading books. I would let them explore at home and hacer, experimentals with the dirt and play outside and all the things that sometimes we're afraid to let them do so that they can build confidence. And then, just having routines for them, knowing that they had a routine that they had to get up and read and then go take a break, maybe do some activity. Once we were in school, we always emphasized to them that teachers were so important to them. They had to respect them. They had to show, that they were there because that's their job. We have a job to go out and make money. Well, their job is to learn. And coming home, they had to do all their homework before they had any activities, to do, whether it was an after-school activity like karate or having to go to baseball or basketball practice. They knew that they couldn't go to basketball practice if they didn't have their homework done. So the academic was the priority, and then their reward was kind of like being part of this other activity that was kind of going to be fun. And them being, seeing that academics was going to be a priority, that led them to say, okay, I need to focus. And my mom and my dad, they have high expectations on me, and we helped them to gain that knowledge through what we could. But the teachers were such amazing influence. They had awesome teachers that just have challenged them and recognized that, that if you give kids high expectations, a lot of these kids, they're going to meet them. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I enjoy most about being a teacher, that I see a lot of my students grow because you give them high expectations. And, the coaches, we always told our boys, coaches are here and they are taking that time from their personal life, to be here and volunteer for them to show you something. So you treat them with respect, you pay attention, you try your hardest, because, we know that they're going to be, and slowly on their own, they started realizing what the coaches, they're here to not just teach us like the physical sport, but a lot of these coaches, yourself and others have taught them about sportsmanship, good character, life experiences and lessons. And I think because of that, all these factors have helped shape my boys and who they are. And one important thing that my husband, started telling the boys early on was, every time you're done with the practice, I want you to go up to your coach and shake their hand and say, thank you, coach. Thank you for your time. And, sometimes they forget to do it and stuff, but, we would be looking out for making sure that they're thanking their coaches because they have guided them to become who they are. Another thing is that I think we also challenged our kids in taking their feedback and also giving them a sense of choice and a sense of freedom in the decisions that they're going to make, so that they could have a buy-in into what they were doing. Because if I felt like when I was just giving them things to do, they questioned it and they kind of like, why do I have to do it? But if you give them choice, and then if you give them a sense of like, this is what I'm also going to work for because it's going to benefit me, then they too, they'll learn, and they'll learn from their mistakes.
Sense of ownership. Yes. Very well said.
And, as you're mentioning that you let them choose, what was your plan in raising them to be involved in sports and activities? Like, what was that process like for you? Like you said at the beginning, maybe you were kind of choosing them at the beginning, and then you realized that it's time for them to choose. But can you explain that process for us a little further? For sure.
So my husband loves baseball, and I love basketball. And so, we thought, okay, well, these are the sports they're going to focus in. But along the way, we saw that they had other interests too. And so even though we would love for them to be, just focused on one sport or what have you, when we saw that, wait a minute, why not help them explore other things also? So, for example, my oldest son, instead of when he got to 8th grade, instead of playing baseball, he said, I don't want to play baseball anymore. And he said, I'm going to go play tennis just because I'm going to be hanging out with my friends. Little did he know that he was going to really enjoy tennis. And he ended up playing tennis for the next 4 years in high school and doing really well at it,
Weren't they champs? Wasn't the team, didn't they get a league championship one year?
for the first time in LSL history.
First time in the history of LSL High School, right? Yes.
Right. So, giving him, and even though that we were like, tennis, are you sure? What are you going to go do playing tennis? But, giving him that choice.
His dad didn't show him the backstroke or anything like that? He didn't. He didn't have daddy there. It's just not it wasn't in our culture, right? It wasn't in our culture to grow up playing tennis in the Mexican culture, right? Let's be honest. And
exactly.
But the courage that he had to try something new. Wow.
Yeah,
and that
exactly.
goes to show you, Amparo, like that confidence that you both instilled in them since they were young, gave them that confidence to continue and to try something new. I mean, 14-year-old, 15-year-olds have such a hard time to try something new. Everything is, fear keeps you from doing things. And so, that's amazing to try tennis. Is such an individual sport as well, right? It's so different from, baseball and basketball.
Right. And just having them realize that if, I think one of the things was, okay, if you guys are going to try something, we're going to let you go out and explore it and stuff. But if you're going to start something, then we're going to have you finish it. Don't just kind of give up along the way, because even if you end up not enjoying it, somehow there's going to be some lesson that you learn from that, right?
Yes.
And we also agree with that tremendously. You start something, you got to finish it. And if anything, parents out there listening, you do as you want with your kids, of course, but here's a perfect example of what works. And, kids, like you said, they'll raise to the level of your expectations. And you guys have set that bar high, and I'm sure you continue to do so. You personally, Amparo, are involved in many, many things. I know you're an active member in our basketball academy. You are a board member, volunteer extraordinaire, and then we converted you to a coach, and you've done a phenomenal job as a coach. And I think it looks like you really enjoy it, But what other things are you involved in, and what drives you? What's your motivation, your passion to volunteer in things that you believe in that are going to make a difference in the community?
Yes. So I love doing GBA, and that's why I have continued for the 10 years. But I don't know if you guys remember when I started, I was just sitting on the bench watching all of you guys, right?
Yes.
And when I was watching you guys, I'm like,
taking notes. What are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? I don't like this. I don't like that.
No. I actually, sometimes it's just like where you see a need and stuff. And I thought, well, I could be doing that too. Why not? I could be helping. And I personally, I didn't grow up playing sports. I didn't have that luxury. I wasn't part of organized sports because, I had that big family, going to school, different factors, right?
Yeah.
So when I came into GBA, it kind of, it started to replace my family that I left in Fresno that I don't get to see all year long and stuff. And so bonding the friendships and what have you, I think giving the sense of giving back to my community and volunteering, like some of the things that I started volunteering, full time with like the kids in their classroom. I remember, some of the teachers like, okay, can you help me cut papers or grade? And okay, yes, I'll do it. And then get this, Jose, I actually would teach art to like kinder through second, third grade students because, but I am not an artist at all.
Here, huh? Hold on. ¿Cómo dicen en español? ¿A todo le tira, nada le pega? Or how's this?
Yes, exactly.
I'll do it.
I would learn the videos, watch a CD and videos, and then I would go and just teach the lessons on art.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, that's where your kids get that fearless personality, Amparo. That's awesome.
Ask me to paint something now, and I can't paint.
Come over to the house. I'll teach you.
But, and then, being part of their PTO, because the more involved I was in their school, the more it gave them confidence the more. And then slowly I began to be part of the school site councils, which I always recommend parents, like if they want to be involved in school and know what's happening and influence, what can happen in a larger scale, be part of a school site council, because a lot of decisions and a lot of information comes through to you that will benefit our students and the families in our community. So I'm still part of school site council at Alisal. And then through that, I was asked to be a board trustee. So I'm a board trustee for the Santa Rita Union School District. And now at that level, I feel like the choices that I make a bigger impact than just in one school, but, a more of a whole district. So I have a deep sense of commitment to wanting, and I don't know where this comes from, but I just want to help others. I want to be a voice for others, and I think the common factor in all the things that I do in volunteering is just knowing that I feel like somebody has to represent those that can't be represented. And somehow I developed that courage. And I kind of want to say that I give a lot of credit to GBA for helping me build, a little sense of confidence with having a voice and being heard, and then knowing that I can make that voice heard at a larger scale.
You're truly involved in every aspect, Amparo. That's so admirable. You've taken so much time to be involved in through the school site council, through and now a board member. And I'm telling you, you're just impacting more and more lives by doing this. And at the same time, that confidence and that courage that you have to speak out, you're being that example for the youth. You're being that example for your own kids. You're being that example for us, for other adults. So thank you for all the work that you do in the community.
I'm humbled. I'm humbled to try and help and whether I'm trying to help at a big scale or something smaller, sometimes it's just as much rewarding to do something bigger for the community, as like I have a small group of coworkers, teachers, that when the holidays come, we all get together and sponsor a family and something even as small as that. It just it's rewarding.
Yes, it is. And so during this time, during the pandemic, we know we have many families struggling and, a lot of issues maybe at home. What advice would you give to parents out there that are struggling to connect with their own kids through these difficult times? What might be some, ideas for them?
Sure. It's been a toll on everybody. Families, personally, I think because I have such a big family, when my husband and I started talking about this, and a couple of sisters, we've already seen way too many people affected by the pandemic, and some in a very negative ways, some that have lost loved ones and stuff. So, trying to keep things into perspective has been very helpful for us. My boys, the oldest one graduated and lost out their last part of the senior year, and it was tough for them, but emotionally. But then we have a really good open communication with them, where we let them express their emotions, their feelings, but at the same time, as we are talking through these conversations, somehow we end up coming back to the sense that despite a lot that's going on, and it was sometimes a realization that came to my boys on their own, that they're very blessed. And because we still have a roof, we have food, my husband and I still have our jobs, and then they begin to compare themselves to some of their friends and their families, and maybe, at a bigger point, because, we've traveled with GBA to so many parts of the world, and this is something that's affecting everybody in the world. Then they start thinking of people in a world view in other countries. And so a sense of grounding them has been that, okay, yes, this is a very difficult time, but yet at the same time, we're blessed because, we still have our health, and we still have a lot that a lot of other families do not have, and a lot of other kids don't have, Also, I think, trying to stay active. We are very outdoorsy people, and we like to go hiking and running and biking, and then in the home, cuando estamos encerrados, for sure, have my son, oh, Mom, read this book and then we'll talk about it, or let's, cook, we're going to cook together, doing family projects around the house together, just doing different activities that actually, in some sense, this time has also brought us closer as a family, where now a lot of the times we sit down and have dinners, whereas before we couldn't because we were so busy with the sports and travel and games, right?
Yes.
I think many of us can relate to that, right?
Same here, yes.
And that's very well said and so true for many of us. Was there ever a pivotal point in your life where something just triggered inside of you? And I know you said that there was a principal that saw something in you to become a teacher and go back to school, but anything growing up, that childhood experience that maybe you now reflect back and said, man, my calling was to be an educator and to give back and to impact, help others. Anything, Amparo, that you think you can remember?
Sure. You know what? I too had some very teachers that helped me realize that, I have a love for something. And I know as girls, we tend to steer away from certain subjects, but I loved my science teachers. They were always so involving and creative and what have you. And so I really ended up liking like my chemistry class and my biology classes. And those teachers really, sparked an interest in me. And the way they taught, they were always so interactive and, animated and what have you, so that they made the class interesting. And I feel that when I teach, it's almost like I'm putting up a show for my students because I become this whole different character so that they can stay interested. But I think those positive role models, and for girls, girls don't go into STEM careers and sciences and stuff like that. So I like to think that when I'm teaching, I'm trying to influence. And I'm kind of being biased, even though I have voice. I'm kind of always targeting my students that are girls because we have this stigma that girls don't like, STEM related stuff. And so, I mean, like I said earlier on with the boys, I would just let them experiment and do all these things that a lot of parents would say, ay, no, vas a ensuciar esto, no hagas esto, no juegues así. And so I think, ándale. And I think that triggered them to continue to love sciences. And both of them right now, are focusing, further in their education with sciences. And so the positive impact that I have because of some of those teachers that just made me have a love for learning and science. And, science is like so cool because it's such a subject of curiosity and observation and doing all kinds of different things that at the same time, you can apply those things to a lot of aspects in your life.
Wow. This has been a very powerful podcast. Having you, Amparo, on the show. You're an amazing example of what someone with a huge heart can do to impact a lot of people, including ourselves. You know, we're big fans of yours, and so that's one of the reasons why we had you on our podcast, because we wanted to share what we know of you.
Share
with
Amparo
everybody.
with the world.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. You know, Ganas is the name of our show, and you exemplify that perfectly as an involved mother and wife. And thank you for sharing your story with us. It's once again, I mean, every time I just listen to you speak, you pump me up, you motivate me to, you know, keep on going and try to explore different things, right?
And you gave a lot of us parents ideas on how to build confidence in our kids, how to connect with them, how to help them, you know, to go on, move on. You know, if you fall down, you get up and you keep going. And so thank you for sharing a very intimate part of your life with us. It was truly inspiring. Yeah. And now is it carne asada time? Are you hungry?
We're going to move on to our, you know, kind of wrap this session up with our carne asada talk. And you know how we barbecue over here. We're social people, right? We love to hang out and as we cook, talk, and, you know, debate certain things, right? So this next portion of our podcast is about, you know, some quick fire questions that we're going to throw at you. And
we're going to grill you. We're going to grill you.
Yeah. So we didn't warn you on this one, but it's just carne asada talk, just us just kind of hanging out and talking. So Eva, you're going to start off with the first one, and then I'll go from there. And you can't Siri this and look for the answer. You got to go speak straight from the heart. Okay.
Okay. Right. So you got to work out. Would you rather run 8 miles or lift weights for 40 minutes?
Oh, you know I'm going to run 8 miles.
Yeah.
Okay. How about favorite movie right now? Or of all time? Favorite movie?
Oh, of all time, The Sandlot.
Okay.
Oh, I love that movie. Disneyland or Six Flags?
Six Flags. Yeah. I'm a adrenaline junkie.
You love the big rides there.
Oh, okay. Salsa.
Yeah, remember I jumped off I skydived off a.
That's right.
Off of Monterey.
Yes.
Okay. Salsa or cumbias?
Oh, salsa.
Okay.
Salsa, but I'm better at dancing cumbias, but I like the music to salsa.
Okay.
¿Camarones a la diabla o cóctel de camarón?
Oh.
That's a hard one.
I know you're a foodie.
Oh, you know I'm a big foodie.
I know.
I would combine. I would add the salsita de camarones a la diabla to the cóctel.
Look at you. Okay. We got to add that to our repertoire.
You are a foodie.
Okay. Would you rather skydive or go into a cage with the sharks?
You already heard me. No, next time I'll go into No. I want to go into the cage with the sharks because I already skydived.
Oh, no.
Okay. You know, that was a little personal question there, right? That was Josue wanted us to ask you that question because he said there's a personal story behind it. So
I love it. Yes, the skydiving is how we got engaged.
That's what he said. So I don't know if you heard about our Mango story, but that's another podcast in its own. This is about you right now. Okay, so
that'll be our love podcast. Huh?
Yeah. Here's our final one. Our final one is it's got to be quick within 1 second. Okay.
Okay.
Minute Maid or Martinelli's?
Oh, Martinelli's 100%.
That's not even a question.
Oh my God.
In fact, look who's here to know that I answered it correctly.
Mr. Martinelli's. Yeah, Where is he?
We gotta get him on the show one day. Okay. We gotta get him. We got to get him on the show. Is he there with you right now?
He's being shy.
He's being shy. Oh, okay. We'll get him on. But wow, this has been an amazing podcast, and I know it's gonna parents out there and just our people in our academy, people around the world that are gonna listen to our podcast are gonna benefit a lot from what you have to offer, Amparo, and the stories that you had to share with us, and the advice and the wisdom. Thank you from the bottom of our heart for it.
Yeah, muchísimas gracias.
Yeah, no, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Like I said at the beginning, I'm humbled. And, you know, Jose, when you talked about the ganas being the theme of the show, it just, you know, I guess my little 2 cents on that is that, you know, I came from Mexico in second grade. I didn't speak any English. You know, for some reason, I learned it fast within like the first 5 months, and then, you know, managed to go on and graduate high school, finish school and college. Now, you know, do something that I love as a teacher, not because of how we get paid, but because of the impact that we have on students and on society as a whole. So I know that my ganas, you know, if I can do it, then a lot of girls and boys out there that have a similar story to me, with me, you know, con muchas ganas.
Con muchas
sí se puede
ganas,
hacer.
¿verdad? Sí, puedes
Sí se
llegar a
puede.
hacer todo lo que quieras. Yeah.
Wow. Powerful. And that's our show today. We'd like to thank Amparo Saldaña for being on our show. From our family to yours, con ganas, leading from the heart.
My heritage is deep in my veins, blood of a king, lot different than most. I come from a long line of hustlers, we dig from the dirt, no need to boast. My heritage taught me to fight, they moving their brains while they busting their back. My heritage made me a wolf, I'm ready for battle as I lead my pack. My head held high cause I'm proud of my roots, my heritage. It gave me a boost to the top, now I'm fair that we running from the cops. Now this is America, don't sound surprised. They go on the news and spread it with lies. Truth of that evil's in different forms. The rich can get richer, bro, it's a norm. History repeats itself, that's how it goes. Trump signing bills, and I call it Jim Crows. What's up, it's the fan, we still got each other. I trust in my neighbor, just like my brother. Our heritage taught us the power of unity. We always on top as we got community. And I take that over money any day. We stick together, our problems gonna fade away. My heritage taught me when there's a will, there's a way. We need to find that way. My heritage, it taught me to hustle. My heritage, it taught me to fight. My heritage.